I'm being recorded, but I'm Josh. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I am old. Just kidding. Not as old as Chris though.
Yep.
No, I have four kids. I am a big fan of disc golf. You'll learn more about me as we look into my social media. Um, but previously, I used to be in Hunter's position actually. So I was the director of technology and well, for the brokerage. And right when Command came out, it was my job to teach everybody how to use Command. And I did that for about a year. And then I got recruited away from the brokerage to work for a team. So now I work as the director of ops for the Peter Morkel Real Estate Group. Personally, I do about 6 deals a year-ish, which is not a ton, but I get them all from social media. The only thing I do is post on social media. In fact, I'm at the point where people will message me and say, um, hey, I know that you're so busy, but I would just really appreciate it if you could take some time to help me with buying this house. And I'm like, you know what? I think that I will be able to help you with that. So anyway, it's just a weird phenomenon that can happen if you keep updated on your social media and upgrade your online presence. So we're going to talk through several things. My background is I have a marketing degree from BYU, and so marketing was always my thing. And when I graduated, I was working for an MLM company doing their marketing, and I hated it. And I found myself looking at real estate the whole time. So my brother-in-law, he works here at this brokerage, and he got me licensed, and so I started down that route, and I'll never go back. I own a few rental properties myself. I own 3 properties. So I've been around. I've been around the block. I have 2 clients right now, and I'm excited to share some thoughts I have about this. It's one of the greatest things. But to start, I usually start with the KPA. Do you guys know what a KPA is? Have you ever heard of a KPA, Chris? So KPA is called the Keller Personality Assessment. Um, Essentially, it's if you want to join a team or if you want to figure out like some of the things you can work on as an agent, the KPA is pretty phenomenal at showing you where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, what you can do to improve. It's pretty extensive. It's about a 4-hour chunk of time. We require the KPA. It's not like in one chunk, but it's 4 blocks of 1 hour, pretty much. So 4 different days we usually do it over. But I like as a team, we require everybody who joins our team to take the KPA and to go through the KPA with us. If you ever want to go through the KPA, I actually love doing it, and I have a goal of doing it once a month. So I would love to do it with you if you want to do that. So that's just a plug if you would like to do that. Just email me. In fact, I'm going to write my email on the board now so that you can email me. I'm also left-handed, which is horrible for writing on the right whiteboards. admin@petermorkel.com if you can't see that. So email me if you want to do that. Also email me if you have any questions or want anything that I show you today. Okay, so let's start with why. We are over 50 years into having the internet, which is crazy. That's like so long. That's a lifetime for some people. 5 billion internet users in the world, and 4.7 billion of that 5 is on social media. Wow, look who came. Remind me your name?
Tanner.
Tanner, that's right. Welcome, Tanner. So we've got a lot of people. If you're on the internet, you're probably on social media. So it's important to be on social media yourself. That's a percentage of users in the US anyway. So that's why we talk about this. 90% of home buyers search online, and 89% are using mobile devices to search online. But this is my favorite side of this. Before the internet became so big back in 2001, 60% of sales were done through an agent. As the internet has become increasingly important in people's lives, that number has gone up to 90%. So 90% of sales are done through an agent, and it has just been on the rise since 2001 as the internet has become more and more prevalent in people's lives. So when the internet first came out, it was another one of those things where people said, hey, it's the end of the agent, agents are worthless now, because most of what they would do, which is true back in the day where you had the book that had all the listings in the area, most of that is dead because looking at homes is online. So your job now is strictly fiduciary. It's strictly negotiating and and walking people through the process. I'm so sorry, this voice thing, it's like killing my flow, so I apologize for for that. Anyway, any ahas from the why of why we talk about using social media, which is what we're about to do? Anything? Nope. Okay, well, I'm going to start requiring you to have ahas, so start coming up with them. So this is kind of where we're going to go with this. We're going to go through social media in general, then we're going to go into social media ads. I'm going to tell you what I think is the one ad you should run. If you're going to run an ad, you should run this one. We're going to go over your website. We're going to go over your Google business briefly, okay? So, hi. Wow, we have three people. Yes. Kyle. We got Kyle, Tanner, and Chris.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go through a bunch of things. Some of them I've made up, some of them I haven't. You've probably heard of some of them before. Can anybody tell me what the 80-20 rule is and what the exception to that is when it comes to social media? Anybody?
It's the 80 social or something like that.
80% of your activities lead to 20% of your.
So that's true, Tanner. That's like a bold law or something, right?
Right.
But that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to strictly social media. The 80-20 rule is if you're posting on your personal page, 80% of your posts are personal, 20% are about business. That's the 80-20 rule, okay? So you're an agent now. That doesn't mean that your social media is all about real estate, right? You don't want to drive people away. You don't want to be, people are going to stop following you and stop caring you. What is the exception to this, to the 80-20 rule? Can anybody tell me?
If you have a business media.
Yes, if it's a business page, right? A business page obviously is about your business, so you can post only about real estate, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your personal page, the 80-20 rule applies. Now, when I say 80-20 rule, I don't mean like you should not be marking on your calendar, right? Like I'm going to post my business posts on Tuesday, right? Like try to just kind of keep that flow, right? Okay, so let's talk about a few things that can help you get things right off the bat. I like the 5x5 by 5 because it's like a really easy social media guideline. So if you want something to do like today to start doing on social media to kind of keep you updated, you can use this. It's 5 comments a day. In fact, I'm not going to write down on the whiteboard because it's up there. 5 comments a day, 5 DMs per day, and 5 posts per week. That's a pretty good standard rule. You'll probably hear that in other classes sometime throughout your life or through your career as a real estate agent, but they call it the 5x5x5. So let's talk about a couple of these. Let me make sure that if I go to the next slide that, okay. So let's talk about a couple of these. 5 comments a day. Do you guys know about the structure? In fact, you haven't had I think that's on Fridays when they'll talk about that. But there's a way that you organize your database. I call it the bold method, but I think the proper name is like D2D something. Have you guys heard of that at all? Okay. So in the alphabet, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, right? And you're trying to call your people 4 times a year, right? Which means if you're trying to call your people 4 times a year, then 26 letters in the alphabet divided by 4 is what? What's that?
6. No, well, 6 and 7.
No, it's
yeah, 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. Okay, that's why. So it's 6.5. We're gonna times that by 2 because we're gonna take 2 letters in the alphabet at a time. That's 13. Oh my gosh, my handwriting is slowly diminishing as I keep writing. The summary is, if you call 2 letters in the alphabet every week, you will call your database 4 times a year on rotation. Does that make sense? KW came up with this math because obviously there's 52 weeks in the year and we're doing 13 groups of letters. 52 divided by 13 is 4, whatever, 14. So KW not only realized this, but they took a poll of everybody that has ever lived in the nation and how many people have certain last names. This is according to last name letters. And so they took a poll and they figured out that if you have blank last name, then you're probably blank percent of the people in the United States, kind of thing. Does that make sense? And so they grouped letters together. In fact, I'm keeping the slideshow. They grouped letters together. So like, for example, the first letter in this grouping is A and W. So you would call everybody with the last name A and everybody with the last name W in 1 week time. That makes sense? So when I say comments a day, I like to go off of this, where not only are you calling everybody in your database that have an A and the W that you have a phone number for, but you're also going on social media and you're looking up people that are following you that have the last name A or the last name W as well, and you're commenting on their posts. Because the problem with social media is that certain people will see your posts consistently, and then most of them won't.
Right.
Does that make sense? So unless you're engaging with other people and you have some kind of system to do that, then you're going to lose a lot of people that probably would have bought or sold with you. And so that's just a way for you to get in front of people consistently.
Is this comments per day, like, so if this is on your personal page, then we're not talking 5 business comments a day, you're just commenting on something that they posted.
Yep, you're looking up people on social media with the last name W, for example, right? You're looking up John White, and then so you go to John White's page and you notice that he just posted about playing tennis over the weekend. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much all you're doing. Just be friendly. Yep. DMs. So we talked about comments, DMs. One of my favorite thing. What's the easiest way to DM someone? Does anybody know? It's through a story. Because when a story comes up, the way that you comment on a story is by DM.
Yeah.
And so go through your stories, right? And start DMing people every day.
Yeah.
Through the story. Like, hey, that's so cool. Tell me more about your trip, or whatever. I don't know. Like, there's all kinds of things. But pretty much the purpose of the 5x5x5 is to engage with people. You're trying to get people to engage with you so that they can start seeing more of your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can I ask you, let's say it is on a business page.
Uh-huh.
Would you recommend against, like, say I have a business page and I'm just commenting on someone's post that, like, oh yeah, that's cool that you got to play tennis over the weekend. Is that on a business page, is that probably not good, or what do you think?
On a business page, yeah, probably not. Do you have a business page?
Yeah.
Why?
So we have, so in addition to being a real estate agent, I run a custom home building company.
Okay.
So we have our.
You have your home building company, yeah. So when it comes to a home building company, I think that's a little bit different.
Can you link pages?
In some ways, yeah. You can collaborate with people, like on Instagram, for example, to tie 2 pages together in one post. But going back to your comment, I think it depends on the person that you're commenting on or DMing.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense? Like if it's some random Joe, like me personally, I think that would be weird.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
see what you're saying. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you.
So anyway. Okay, moving forward. So let's talk about the difference between these things really quick. Stories, posts, and reels. So we're going to talk about each one of those questions that are next to them. So we'll talk stories, posts. I know this seems basic, but also you'd be surprised that, well, for some people this will seem basic. For some, this will be all new. So we're just covering all our bases. Where do they show up? Where do stories show up?
In the stories too.
This is important though. Where's the stories tab? It's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
Every time you log into social media, the first thing you see is a story. Actually, I don't even know. Does TikTok have stories? None of you TikTok? Okay, that's fine. I don't TikTok either, so that's good. You won't ask me hard TikTok questions. Yeah, stories are at the very top. I mean, like when it comes to social media, stories are one of the most important ones, right? Where do posts go? Where do they show up? Just on
In
your
your
feed, right? Okay. Where do reels show up?
Don't they show up in your feed too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like halfway, like let's say this is your feed and here's your story, right? You'll have like several posts and then you'll have like several reels that will come up as well, right? Like here's where your stories will be. We go through some, and then somewhere down in the middle of the page, or 12 posts down, you'll see reels.
Okay,
But also you can just
I'm
scroll.
throwing it out there though, really dumb. What's the difference between a story and a reel?
We're gonna talk about it in just a second. We're focusing right now, so this is kind of in your feed, but it's mostly in like the reels section. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like when you're on Instagram, you can put a reel on your page, right? And it will show up in your feed. But anyway. Wait, what your question was?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? Yeah.
Between a story and a reel?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So a story is well, a reel is a video. A reel has to be a video. A story can be whatever you want, but a reel will always be a video. So that's the easiest explanation. But we're talking about several differences really quick. How long do they last? How long does a story last?
24 hours.
24 hours, good. What about these two?
They stay.
Yeah. So these are permanent. When do you think is the best time to post these? Or let me, actually, let's talk about when in just a second. How often should you post these? How often should you have a story?
Once a day at least.
Okay. What else? Any other ideas?
I would say twice a week.
On a story?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think once a day, so you always have a story.
Yeah, my rule of thumb that I teach in this class is always have a story. Never not have a story. Because honestly, the best case scenario is have 3 to 4 up at a time. Which just means you gotta take more pictures in your life. Or come up with more questions, right? Like this, where I think the next page is literally taking a picture of this class. Yeah, there you go. Let's create a story right now. So we'll do that in just a second. We're gonna take a selfie of yourself standing here in the class, like, and put on your story. Super easy. You just gotta take more pictures in your life. Ask more questions. Put polls and stuff. Posts. How often do you think you should post?
5 times a week, right? Wasn't that what, or yeah, 5 times a week, wasn't that your rule? 5, 5, 5?
That's 5 out of 5. Yeah, that's true. I like to say like a minimum of every other day-ish. So I'm gonna say 3 to 4. Like the question is the real answer is when you will. Like the key thing is consistency. So more important than frequency is consistency. So if you're gonna commit to something, commit to it, whatever it is, right? Once a week, great. Post once a week.
Yeah.
Twice a day, great. Post twice a day. And the more consistent you are doing that, the better. The more deals you're gonna actually get from it. But also, so consistency is how you start getting deal flow, but then the frequency is how you start amping up that deal flow. Does that make sense?
So in inconsistent, like 1 week I post like 10 times, and then 2 weeks go by and I don't post anything. That's a problem.
That's gonna be much harder to get deal flow than
Yeah.
it's going to be being consistent. Like me, I'm trying to post almost every day. I'm more like every other day at this point.
Do you feel like you ever lose followers for being too much?
No, never.
No.
No. People love, like you heard her, like,
She loves you, yes, she did.
because I don't post like crap things. Like I don't post like, look at my dog taking a dump, or something, like I'm posting about my family. I'm posting about things, and you're gonna see this in just a second, but I'm posting about things that I think are important. And my followers do too. That's why they follow me. That makes sense. Like they want to see how my family doing. Like my top 3 things are like I post a lot about my family, post a lot about disc golf, I post a lot about Jesus. So between those 3 things, like that's who I am. So that's why people follow me, to follow that kind
Yeah.
of thing. That make sense?
And so you'd say probably consistency in your content as well is gonna be important
Yeah, for
because
sure.
you're building an audience of people who care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you're just like posting about completely different things all the time, it'll be hard to build an audience.
Yeah. Yeah. And people who follow me are people who care about similar things as me.
Yeah.
And because they care about similar things as me, they trust me
Sure.
to take care of them
Yeah.
for whatever needs that they have when it comes to real estate. Let's talk about window posts really quick. I love the window post thing because I hate it. But the reason why I hate it is because I have, like, my background, I got my degree in marketing from BYU, and in that time of studying marketing and communications and whatever, I have probably seen 40 different diagrams of when the best time is to post.
Yeah.
And they're all different, right? Everybody has an opinion. Oh, it's best right before lunch, right during lunch, first thing in the morning at 4 a.m. So when people wake up, they see it. Right at 3 o'clock when people are winding down, because that's when work starts to slow down and they start surfing. You know, like everybody gets on social media at all kinds of different times.
Yeah.
My answer to that is whenever you will. Like for me, I don't wait for like the best time. I just post when I will.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I need to get a post up. I'm gonna do that right now because I have time. Right? Does that seem fair?
Do days matter? Like,
Whenever you will. That's the answer.
Yeah.
More important than time of day is when you will. I do think that people waking up in the morning is probably the prime time to have something up. And so I usually, like, if I have a choice, I'll probably post super late at night. Like if I'm up at 11 and I'm like, oh man, I haven't gotten a post up for a little bit, I should probably get one up. Then that's when I'll do it, because I'll put it up so that people will wake up to it. So anyway, okay, so let's do it. Let's create a post right now. This is actually really cool. It's got like all this technology right here. So I'm
a
gonna
story or a post?
story. Oh, also, let me show you something really quick. On your phone defaults to, let me just get out of my camera. Your phone defaults to one zoom. I really like zooming out to 0.5 because like I could take a picture of all of you in this picture. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you're doing video tours, anything like that, you're walking through an open house, zoom out so that you can see more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm gonna post about it. I'm just putting a picture. You can take a video right now if you would like. I only had one finger up. I was supposed to do two. Oh well.
Which finger was it though?
I was pointing up for some reason.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to get a story on now.
And, mind if we mention you?
Yeah, absolutely. Tag me.
Yeah, Peter Morkel, is that your
No, I'm Josh Berrett.
Josh Berrett.
Yeah, Peter doesn't know anything about social media. Just kidding.
So, okay, B-A-R-R-E.
Berrett. Yeah, you don't have to tag me, but you're welcome to.
Are you in the cool sunglasses? Is that you?
No, this is me. This is my profile.
Oh, it's because I'm on Instagram.
Oh, what am I on Instagram? Let's look. Nope, same picture. Joshua Taft Barrett.
Oh, there it is. All right, found you.
I didn't find you. I'm sorry, I probably didn't tag you. Is it tapped?
You have to have Taft in there?
Joshua T. Barrett, that's what I found.
I'll have to redo my story. Okay, so are you private or are you public?
I'm public.
Okay.
I feel like as a real estate agent, you're pretty much a public figure. This is my opinion, so this is the doctrine according to Josh. But if you want to get followers, you should not have a private account. If you
Yeah,
want to
right.
get anything from social media, you should not have a private account.
Put yourself in there.
Let's see here. What is my tag? That's me right there. I think it's been a minute since I've posted. My Instagram is pretty dismal, just so you know. Actually, both of my
So
profiles.
Facebook is better for you.
Both of my profiles are pretty dismal. Like I'm not like some super amazing. I don't have like 1 million followers. Like I have 300 on on Instagram and I have 1,200 on Facebook. Right, like it's
Sure.
pretty
Yeah.
average.
Yeah.
But I do close 6 deals a year off of only social media.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Well, that's cool to hear too, because it shows you don't need 1 million followers to have success on it.
yeah, exactly. Yep, I've started doing more things to get more followers because I'm like I could probably close more if like I've been using hashtags my entire life of doing social media. I've never used hashtags, but like hashtags are how you get other people to see it, right?
Right.
And so, anyway, so we're gonna talk about that in just a second, but let's talk about a 3-line limit really quick. So look at the difference between these posts. Okay, which one of these posts looks the best? I mean, looks the worst. Which one of these posts, looking at it, at least seems the hardest to read off the back? You're like, oh, I don't want to read
The
that.
one on the left.
I'm going first or third.
Yeah, so yeah, the third is because I'm not trying to show you like the people there. But on the left, right, like I like to say a 3-line limit. You have to block out your paragraphs. That's my wife, so I like to call her out on that post. But it's hard to read. People are going to skip over your post because it's so hard to read.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like and this is also a great example. You can see on some of these, actually no, all these are under the 3-line limit. Sometimes I won't be quite at 3 lines. Sometimes they'll be at 4 or maybe even 5 on a really tough sentence. But try to keep it very, very minimal, right? Break it up so it's really read, okay? Inside, that's my baby post. 100 likes. Thing is,
Wow. Yeah.
any comments on anything that you have, always reply. And then look at it. So I tagged, right, Lila Judd. All I said was thank you. I said thank you like a ton, right? 2 of those are thank you. Actually, 3 of them are thank you.
4 of them.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, say, make
I'm sure there's probably like a statute of limitations. Like you don't want to go back to like old posts and like, oh, I could comment on.
yeah, don't worry about it. Just moving
Yeah,
forward,
moving
I would
forward,
say. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this. Careful with emojis, obviously. Don't be the old person that puts
Oh, hello.
60 emojis on it. Right? But like you here, like I'm not a perfect example, but I feel like I'm right. I like to use emoji sharing. That's weird. Hang on.
You're pulling that up. I don't know if this is true or if I misheard, but my understanding is I think that hashtags on Instagram have kind of changed because a lot of people are just putting like 50,000 hashtags on every single post. And so they've modified them in some way to make them like less powerful. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Because like hashtags, that's exactly what people like. You look at a lot of like influencers, you know, they've got 20, 30 hashtags at the end just to like get on every single thread that they can possibly get on, right? So there's only so much you can do about that. But with hashtags, I like to use hashtags for really specific things like I don't even have hashtags on any of these example posts, but I like to use hashtags to try to get in specific niches.
Sure.
Yeah, you can just look at any of my posts, but I'm not an expert with hashtags. I'm trying to use them more just to get more followers. But that's why you would use a hashtag, is to get more followers. Okay. So good. Okay, let's talk about you look past.
Good one.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
City one.
You got a city one. You've got like even with the neighborhood, like it could be like HOA specific, for example. So like here's I'm not muted now.
It's growing really fast. Very fast. Yeah. It's got tons of community. Is he the owner of Arrive? Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So weird. Did I freeze out?
He's been a part of so many different things, but
Test.
It's interesting though. That's even like in the context of what we're talking about, like might be overdoing it. Level. I don't know if I want to talk. And I'm not saying.
I would say he's a salesman and he's slick.
Oh,
Does
sure.
that describe it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I usually err on the side of, I think I like this 80-20 rule. Afraid. Yeah. I'm usually one. Like I am so afraid of Kyle because he talks about real estate. Like I'm always afraid. And so the 80-20 it's a good.
Well, something's broken on sharing. I don't know why.
You're not the tech guru anymore.
Yeah.
That's right. It's not my job anymore. Hunter,
Not my problem.
your screen sharing is paused. I don't know why my screen sharing paused. Also, that stopped working.
Yeah.
How?
A long time, but I've never been a very active agent. So I've probably got my license for like 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Probably 7 years. But I've always been part-time.
Okay.
And like I said, I mean, my wife and I are running a custom home building company, but,
Peter, you
taking
hopped in when we're having
people,
technical
like, I
difficulties.
probably wanna be, before, part-time at like 5 hours a week,
Mhm.
and now maybe like 20 hours a week. Yeah.
Peter, will you speak? And
You want me to speak?
It's really exciting.
you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely. And like hitting the ground running like this is
I'm
fun.
unmuted.
I'm learning about this 7 years ago, and
Where do you do most?
mostly Utah. So yeah, so far we just finished.
Hey, Ritz, are you on
a
here?
$2.5 million project.
Yeah, I guess the internet is just slow because you're freezing as well.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Can you hear me, Josh?
We're getting old retry here. Hopefully this will work.
Okay.
Sharon, I think you might have lost it again. Yeah, it keeps
Internet from other people. Your internet connection is unstable.
Each other accountable on
Yes, I love it. Yeah. All right, I'll put me in there. More active on our.
On your business?
on
You
my
can put both
business
in.
one. Okay, great. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then,
I'll have to change my settings from,
oh, are you private right now?
yeah,
Okay, what's your Instagram user?
it is.
All right, I'm just gonna move forward. Hopefully this is working for people.
Okay, I just found you and hit followed. Yes, I requested since you're on.
Yeah, I know, I gotta unfire.
Then what's your user handle?
I am Tanner
Yeah.
Lee.
To be honest, I'm new to, so I wouldn't let my teenagers have Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
or
I see you.
anything, So I never had it.
Yeah,
Now that, I mean, my youngest is
Mine
20 now,
Lucid
so.
Design.
yeah, it's tricky. It's like a cest fest, but also everybody's on it, so.
Well, for teenagers, I just was not thrilled.
I
Yeah.
agree with, I mean, I only have young kids, but gosh, I feel like it's probably not a good idea for young
Especially for
kids.
girls. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I feel like it's worse for girls.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have it forever, so I'm still kind of like trying
Yeah.
to figure it all out.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna push forward now, okay? Okay, Facebook groups, become your community go-to. So here's some examples, okay? So I'm in our local neighborhood Facebook group. And these are some of the posts I put. Oh, hey, my kid is going to play. I'm gonna coach. If anybody want to join me, I do a lot of HOA stuff because people don't follow HOA. So if you become the go-to in your neighborhood for HOA stuff, then you become the go-to for real estate specific stuff as well. Now in this neighborhood, there are me and one other agent. I don't live in this neighborhood anymore, but there was me and one other agent. And the other agent would post on this page very specific things like, hey, if anybody wants to buy or sell a house, I'd love to work with you, kind of thing, right? Guess who got more appointments than this agent, right? I've
That stuff
had,
is exhausting. I
yeah,
hate that kind of
exactly.
thing.
I've had 3 appointments in this neighborhood. And I know for sure that that other lady has had 0, and she is almost out of the business. I think she's had 1 closing in the past year, that lady, right? It's just like who you are as a person, right? Like I'm coming from contribution. Hey, I'm gonna be a coach. Hey, I want to help you with the HOA meeting. Hey, I took notes about the HOA meeting. If you want them, I'll just DM them to you. Just let me know. Hey, our real estate team, we're gonna put a dumpster out. That's what that one is.
That's a really cool idea, because that's what, my question to you was going to be, how do you toe the line of like, not just being active, but people know you're an agent, but you're not being that exhausting, annoying person who's always asking for sales and leads and saying, I'm an agent, I'm an agent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a personality thing, first of all, because how you do it will be different for everybody. The way I do it is like if someone posts like, does anybody know how much our townhomes are worth these days? I will put the exact amount directly on the page.
Got it, yeah.
Rather, right? Some agents will be like, hey, just reach out to me. I'll get you a private CMA kind of thing. I'll just put it on.
Yeah.
Like everybody can see it, right? Like, hey, I'm guessing this range. I've ran some numbers kind of thing. You know, let me know if you have any other questions kind of thing. Because that happens on these pages.
Oh,
People
yeah,
will
sure,
post about,
sure.
hey, what's going on here?
I feel like my area is saturated with agents.
And that's true. Your agent,
There are a lot.
and that's why you can't be the one that is annoying.
Yeah.
Right? Be the one that comes from contribution of specific things, right? Like, hey, I'm a hair cutter in the area, or like, hey, I'm the president of the HOA, or I'm working on the HOA. I feel like the HOA is the easiest in of tying yourself to real estate while coming from contribution. So, okay. Let's go back here. Economist of choice. You've probably had that conversation with Shoni, but become the economist of choice. Like when you post about real estate, once a quarter, I will make some obscenely long post about the economy. Should we look it up? Let's look it up.
Yeah.
So here's my Facebook page. That one's about Christ, and then pretty much they're all about my family. This one's about doing Matterports, because I showed them my Matterport. At four-way. Yep. Someone pranked me and sent me pizzas for April Fools.
Awesome.
That's what they thought was funny.
Was there actually pizza inside?
Yeah, 8 pizzas.
That is the best
That's
gift.
awesome.
It was hilarious
Did you have to
and
pay for it,
amazing.
though?
I know, I didn't know.
That's the best prank I've
It
ever
is
heard
the
of.
break.
Yep.
Yeah. it's not-
So here's one. That one's not about the economy, though. That one's about renting.
Cute kids, by the way.
Thank you. They are adorable. That's my super hot wife. Okay, let's see here. Let's go here.
Broken arm or collarbone or something.
That's shoulder. Man, I'm sorry. I thought this would be sooner, but I post way too much.
It's helpful to see this though, because I love seeing your mix of personal posts, and then there's just some like
Yeah, so-
some stuff sprinkled in.
Yeah.
So even you scrolling through your feed is very helpful. I
Yeah.
think it helps me to get a feel.
Gives you an idea of what's going on. So we got headshots done in our team, so I've been using them on different posts.
Yeah.
So this one I did like, hey, I just got back from family reunion. Here's some things that don't have to do with real estate, but I felt like are good for everybody. Does that make sense? So I've got a real estate plug in that,
Yeah.
right? But none of these quotes are about real estate specifically,
Very
right?
cool, very cool.
And there's another one about family reunion that I was tagged in.
Oh, that's perfect.
There's that one. Let's see here. There's one that I really like, but they're like so crazy long. This is it. So like when I post about
Awesome.
the market, like I want to give as good of information as I possibly can without saying anything is definite, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm just putting some facts on here. I'm throwing out a couple. Yeah. anyway, I don't even know how to describe this, but pretty much I'll take an hour and I'll write this out. Where do you think I got these slides from? To become the real estate of choice. From KW, that's the right answer. I don't expect you to know that answer. But if you go to kwutah.com and you go to resources, every quarter, KW Utah comes out with slides about how the market's doing,
Sweet.
what's going on. Johnny does a big old presentation, right? Even Jordan has been in that presentation several times. So like it's easy to get this information. So get the information, become the go-to, and become the economist of choice, which means you have to understand what's happening in Utah. You have to be in these meetings. You have to go to these things so you can understand, okay, what direction are we heading and where do we think we'll be in 6 months?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Not a salesman, what's the purpose of the group, right? What's the purpose of the group? If you're posting things that aren't the purpose of the group, then you're the annoying one.
Yeah.
And people don't want to work with people they don't like. In fact, that's one of my favorite takeaways from Founding Union is people don't work with people they don't like.
Yeah.
So if people aren't working with you, it's probably because you're not likable.
Yeah.
Or you're preaching to the wrong type of people, people
Right.
who like other things, not what you like. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did have it on there. That's hilarious. Too late. So economists of choice. So KW Utah, they do it quarterly. A MOFR is the dumbest word in the whole world that KW uses, but it's basically make offer for immediate response, which basically means have a call to action, right? In most marketing, you'll hear the word call to action. In KW, you'll hear the word MOFR. Hooray! But that's what MOFR is. It's a call to action. So have them do something, you know. If you want more information, check out my blog post here for a more detailed list, so on and so forth. Okay. Okay, it was going. I was worried. I was like, man, did it just freeze up again? Okay, so let's talk about cleaning up your profile really quick. If it will get rid of that section. It's showing clean on mine, but not clean. Oh, there we go. Okay, so which one of those profile pictures are the worst? Yes. If you can't see your face on the profile picture, it's a bad profile picture. People want to see your face so they know they can trust you. Okay. Yes, that's a cute picture of me and my wife playing soccer on the beach, and it's amazing, and we look freaking hot. But you can't see me as a person, right? Like that's not. That could be anybody.
It's a great post, but it's not.
It's a great post. It's a terrible profile picture. Yes. Okay, so let's go to mine really quick because I'm the perfect example of social media and profiles. No sarcasm. But right here, let's just go. There we go. Okay, so cover photo. But before I go to cover photo, actually, let's go here. I like to use this as describing you. You should have a bio, and it should be super short, direct and to the point. Like those are my big things: family, friends, faith, real estate, wealth advisor, disc golf addict. Like those are the things I do. I spend 90% of my time doing those things,
Yeah.
right? Or with those people. So this picture is one of these things. My cover photo.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This picture is a very clear picture that shows my face. Okay. I actually don't love this picture because I'm like half smiling, but it's good. It's fine. I like to switch it up every once in a while too.
Gotta duck out 'cause I got my
You're good. You're good. Any questions about that?
Thank you for letting me
Nice to
join
meet
this.
you.
I am very excited to.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
A couple other things. You need to make sure that you mention that you're an agent, right? You can get sued or not sued. You can get fined if you being an agent is not one click away. So if you run ads, if you do anything, that has to be within one click, right? And so I always have it in my bio or somewhere in here, right? Like I'm Director of Ops and Lead Generation, Peter Mocha Real Estate Group. I'm a realtor, real estate consultant at KW Excellence, powered by KW Westfield. I work at the Mapleton office, which is a branch of this office, just so that makes sense. And I used to be the Director of Agent Services at KW Westfield. So anyway, so I've got tons of KW Westfield, like people know where I am and who I am there, okay? Let's see here. Let's go back here. Cover photo, pick up something in your bio. Yeah, okay, we're good there. Any questions about that? If you want examples of things that you could post, I like these examples. we paid a lot of money for someone to teach me how to run Facebook ads in a more than a medium amount of knowledge. And this is one of their slides they had. I liked it. Like these are examples of types of content, right? So like, geez, I'm so sorry. This nasal thing is killing me. You could post about problem solving. You could post about some kind of personal story you had, some kind of methodology. This is how you do this, right? Intellectual insight. This is a cool thing that I learned at this conference, right? Bandwagon, what's happening right now? You can jump on the bandwagon more. Personal philosophy, is there a faith or something that's going on? Belief harmony, this is pretty similar to that. Transformation, right? Like I did a transformation post at the beginning of the year of, I'm way too skinny, I want to build bulk. How do I do that? All of you people, more than me, teach me how to do that, right? Probably had 60 comments come from that, right? Ask a question. That goes back to the transformation thing, right? For my example, at least, but ask question. People want to act like they know that what's going on, right? So ask your people questions, so they can get that, they can feel that power. Invitation, invite them to things, events, PR, right?
When it says like 1 to 3, what's the time frame for all of that?
Those don't matter. That was
Okay.
that was specifically for that. These are just good ideas. Yeah,
Okay.
I just like that. Okay, so on our team, this is how we break it down. Like if you were going to do something every day and something every week, this is what we tell our team. So I really like this page. Hopefully this is helpful to you all. But like this is a daily, weekly breakdown. So birthdays, let's talk about birthdays really quick. Every morning on my social media, I get a post that tells me, not a post, but a notification tells me whose birthday it is, right? Somewhere in here. It's probably unread. Man, I'm on so many different pages here. Anywhere, somewhere in here, I got a post this morning about whose birthday is when. I probably already looked at it. But I almost always, I usually click on that post and I directly DM those people whose birthday it is, right? Be aware of whose birthday it is and DM them. One of my favorite things I used to do.
DM them though, you don't just.
Yeah, I direct DM them. Yeah, just say, hey, just want to reach out, say happy birthday. One of the things I used to do that I actually really love is I would call them with 3 interesting facts about the birthday. Like what happened on this day. Oh, did you know that this was the day that the Titanic sank? Did you know that this was the day that, this was the day that Hitler was born? And so, is there a comparison there? Maybe, Anyway, try to make it funny and fun, but like people are interested to know what happened on their birthday. I used to do that a lot more. And then I stopped calling people. So 2 to 6 calls a day, 2 handwritten notes. We do a top 50, and so interact with your top 50, and at least with 2 of your top 50s in some way every day. Post on each one of these, 5 comments per day, consistent story on social media. Yeah, so we've talked about pretty much all those. Anyway. Oh, shoot. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Any ahas? Let's talk about ahas. What ahas do you have up to this point?
Social media plays a big part in business.
It does. That's true.
I need to up my game. Or get in the game, not.
You just need to have consistency. You don't need to up your game. Don't overthink it, right? It's more about consistency than anything else. Kind of what do you think?
I like the idea of you're not just straight business. Getting to know you as a person more than.
Yep, I'm mostly not business.
Right. I like that better.
Right, but with little business plugs inside some of my posts occasionally, and then occasionally I'll do just like a, hey, I'm a real estate agent, don't forget, kind of thing,
I think spreading out your communication across all the things, sometimes forget, you need to comment and post and make stories and,
Yeah.
do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's true. One thing that hopefully will help you with that is, I would make every post you ever do your story, just to help you have stories, right? And then second of all, we talked about this a little bit, but take way more pictures of your life. Take way more pictures of what you're doing in moments,
Are
because
you in your pictures a lot of the time, or is it just pictures?
just
going
depends. It
around?
totally depends on the picture. Like I wasn't in this picture, right? But like, your life is way more interesting than you think it is, and if you want to have followers, right, then post about things that are happening in your life. so that they can follow it, because that's what people want to do. They want to follow other people's lives and relate to them, right? Like I post a lot of pictures, not a lot, but like once a quarter, I post a picture about my house being a total disaster, and the fact that I have 4 kids, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so true!" Like, "Thank you," kind of thing. And I'm like, "Yeah, well, everybody's going through this, right? That is in this stage of life, and people want to relate to whatever stage of life you're in."
How
'Cause
much time do you think you spend a day on your social media?
Way too much.
interactions?
Interactions, probably like an hour. Between posting and interacting with people on Facebook, probably like an hour a day.
Which do you think is more successful, Facebook or Instagram?
It totally depends on where you are and where your people are. There's not really a right answer to that. Also, where you'll be most consistent.
Because it's
'Cause-
easy to just do both at the same time.
It's easy to do both at the same time, so that's totally fine. But like, for example, like you could do neither of those and only do YouTube and be super successful. Like it doesn't really matter where you are, but if you're in a place and you're consistent, right? Anybody on Zoom want to give an aha? Jessica? Elizabeth?
You reschedule, so.
I appreciate the reminder about not posting too much wording.
Yes, the 3-line limit.
Yeah.
I totally made that up. It's not a real thing, but also it is a real thing, so don't do it. Okay. Let's talk about advertising. Actually, let's go back to this because I used to have a slide about this, but now it's gone. Let's talk about topics that are sore topics or could be offensive topics. Okay. For example, Jesus, right? Or abortion, or whatever topic it is that you feel the need to post about.
Specific parenting practice.
Specific parenting, spanking your children, right?
Yes.
Like
Or
they're
not spanking your children.
Yes, exactly.
Anything is
Anything.
gonna have.
Yep. When you're on social media, you're gonna burn some bridges. Just kidding. You're not gonna burn some bridges. You're gonna ruffle some feathers. No matter what you do, there's no way to be on social media and not ruffle somebody's feathers in some capacity. Okay. So my advice for things that could fit, first of all, never be discriminatory. You are a licensed agent. You cannot be discriminatory in any capacity. That's not what we do. Second of all, just be nice, okay? You do not know everything, so never think that you do, and never post in a capacity that sounds like you do. Does that make sense? Because when it comes to anything, I'm trying to think of like a really specific example of like where I've been burned in the past. I can't think of one. Like I feel like when I post, I'm pretty nice about things. But also, like, you are a specific type of person, so you're not going to attract people that don't like your type of person. Does that make sense? And so don't try to. That's not your job. But your job is to be nice.
Do you accept all followers? I mean,
Yeah.
well, I guess you
Anybody
don't
that wants
have
to follow me is-
accept,
yeah.
So you're
I-
fine with that, you don't care.
Okay. Well, no, that's not true. Not on Facebook. Ooh, good question. Actually should be more.
Because I feel like there's a lot of,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're definitely,
I
I
have
think that.
requests all the time, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, 90%.
No.
Actually, I would say 90% of people who request to follow me, I don't accept. With specific exceptions, right? Like if I'm in a class, I'm teaching class, people ask me my friend, then I'll accept everybody in that class, right? I've met you in person, I don't feel like you're a threat to my children, right? But if I've never met you and you're some random guy, like half the time you can see where these people are from too, like even especially on Instagram.
Yeah, they have no posts.
They have no posts, or they have one or two, right? And they made their profile a month ago or a week ago or this morning, right? Then you know, like, okay, this is a scam. It's some, don't accept those people, obviously. So, okay, all right. Social media advertising. Let's give you something to use today. Okay, I'm going to show you what I think is, in my unbiased and perfect opinion, the best ad you can run on social media for dirt cheap. So we run an ad to our SOI. It's called the SOI ad. I know, crazy. But it gets in front of our people every day. Every single day, our people are seeing our faces in front of their social media, scrolling in different ways. Let me bring this up here. And guess how much money we spend as a team on our SOI ads? Let's take a guess. Let's say per day for 15 agents. Guess how much money we're spending? Anybody guess?
$5.
$5. Dream on!
Pretty cheap, 50 cents.
No, not $5. But look at this. In the past week, we've spent $14 on this ad campaign. I mean, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
that's pretty good.
$114 on this ad campaign for 14 people. Okay.
Oh, wow, cool, yeah.
So let's look at mine. But pretty much what we do is we spend $1 every day. And this is what the ad looks like. Curious about buying, selling, or building a home? I've got your back. That's all it says. It's got my name and my phone number. I put my phone number on there because the only people that it's targeting are people that I have either their phone number or their email for,
Right.
Okay.
right? And so it's a procured list by me that I can target directly. And yeah, I have had probably, 30 people tell me directly, I see you everywhere. You're everywhere. Every time I'm scrolling through stories or whatever, I spend hardly any money on, I mean, like I don't spend any money because I'm on a team, right? But this is super cheap. Let's look at mine. How much have we spent on my ad specifically to my 200 people? This week we spent $11 no, not even a week, between March 1st and April. So let's say last year, I can't do last year. We'll say last 30 days. Last 30 days, I've spent $30, okay? You could spend way less than $300 a year doing this.
Wow.
How, how does this work? Like, because I see you have a bunch of different people on there.
Uh-huh.
Is that like something we coordinate, or that, like, I just do it myself?
No, you do it yourself. I'm gonna show you how.
Okay.
I'm not gonna show you how right now. So you don't need to worry about the how. I'm gonna show you where to find out how to do it, okay? So there's a group, let me go here, that you need to join in order to get access to this video. But I already made a video that walks you through this because I taught this class way back in the day when the shift was just starting to happen. And this is the class that they had me teach was doing this. It's called Mastering the Changing Market. That's what it's called. That's one right here. Okay. And in this group, because I've already posted it, there are classes from all of our top agents in this brokerage and me. So notice that I'm not a top agent in this brokerage, but there are classes, all the top of this brokerage, going through this. And somewhere in here, they threw me in it, and it's me teaching how to build those ads. This is it. Here's the walkthrough for your SOI ads. So August 15th, 2020. Yeah. So I will walk you through how to create these ads. It's a little bit complicated, but it will probably take you a couple hours. But in my mind, this is totally worth it. You'll have to have a business Facebook page. You have to have a business page first. Then you'll have to build a business manager page in Facebook, which is different than an ads. Like you have to go into ads manager, which is different than ads center, which is where most people run ads from. Anyway.
Can I ask you, this would be a specific for me question, but would you, I have two different business pages? Because I have a business page for Lucid Design Build. Should I have a business page for like Kyle Wilson Real Estate Agent?
You all should have a business page for the sake of running ads.
Yeah.
Anytime you post about real estate, I would just put that post onto your business page and not worry about it besides that.
Okay.
Does that make
So
sense?
yeah, I can put it on my design build and that's probably fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Just because I don't have a business page. We have the Peter Mokel Real Estate Group, and that's where I run ads from. Right. So it's a little bit different when you're on a team, but even if I was just by myself, I would have a business page that called like Josh Berrett Real Estate, and that would be
At Keller Williams.
at Keller. No, I wouldn't put that in the title. I would put Josh Berrett Real Estate, and then in the description I would have at Keller Williams. But anyway, and that I would just leave it, and it would be a junk page pretty much that I wouldn't try to maintain heavily. I would use my personal page heavily, but that's only to run ads, pretty much.
That's all. Yes, I get it.
And then anything I posted on my personal page that had to do real estate, I would also put it on my business page just to have it there, so I would
Yeah.
have consistent
Yeah, we
content.
have some content.
Yeah.
How many ads do you do?
a year.
Really quick, let's go a couple more. What time? Okay, your website. Everything goes back to your website. Have a good CRM and send it back to your website. Okay, that's my that post goes back to your website. Make smart plans. This is too. Are you obviously the word? If you Google the word this, you'll be create your own Google page where you can get this reviews, websites. I mean, this is old, so it only has 4 at the time. Like you should have a business page. It should be a place where people can leave you reviews.
Mm.
Did I mute myself somehow? That's horrible. I'm sorry, but I
Just like spreading the posts, do post stories, comments, and DMs.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I like that. Let's go to Jessica. What's your big takeaway from today, if you can hear me? Or Elizabeth? Or am I way
He's
too
cutting out. Did you
glitchy
ask me
again?
something?
I think that you're speaking, Jessica, but oh well. Well, hopefully you got some takeaways. That's the summary. Man, I wish I remembered what I was going to say because I felt like it was really important. Oh well. If you guys ever want to contact me, I can get you that list of the way that Keller Williams does it. With it's called I call it the bold method. Again, it's called like D2D2 or something. It's like some weird name. DTD2. That's what it is. Yeah. That's my email, admin@petermorkel.com. You can just email me and request it. I'll send it to you. Or anything. Feel free to email me. I work in this office Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm like, if you go up the stairs, go down the hall, past the printer. Otherwise, I am in Mapleton the other days. Oh, sweet. Thanks for sharing, ladies. But I'd be happy to help. So that's it. Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna log off now.